So now you've learned a little bit about your media center or library and the resources that are available to you and your students. In addition to that, you've learned a little bit about Techno Expo and some of the possible projects your students can do for the February Techno Expo. But now we're going to talk about some nuts and bolts, about something that's important to the day-to-day in your classroom, and that's NetSchool. One of the things that you need to know about Gene Pike Middle School is that your NetSchool page has a standard in how it is set, a format that we like to follow. These links, if you have them at the top of your NetSchool page, will help you be a success as well as help your students soar. At the top of your NetSchool page, you need to have your online textbook link, online gradebook link, resources that you might want to include, a link to your website, the Pike School calendar, and then your lesson plans linked to your calendar in NetSchool on a weekly basis. Let me show you a couple of examples so you kind of have an idea of how it works. The first example that I'm going to go to is Ms. Schlomax. Ms. Schlomax, if you notice, she has set up where she has the title of her course, her name, and then underneath it she has icons with a blue link to each of those items. Some other NetSchool pages that you became familiar with when we were in training with new teachers was the new teacher boot camp. Remember those pages, as you can go back to those if you need to utilize them, if you just want to borrow either an icon or something like that using your snipping tool, or if you like the way that they've either designed their class or how they've set up their page, as long as it goes along with the standard that we have set for Pike Middle School. What I'd like to show for you now is how you would set up your the top of your page. Obviously, you've already been assigned your NetSchool page that shows what you teach and your name. Underneath that, you might want to again identify yourself. You can include a picture, or like Ms. Schlomack did in her website, you can include a picture of the school mascot. What you're going to do to create that page is you're going to notice that you have a button first here that says Turn Editing On. You'll go ahead and click on that Turn Editing On button, and when you turn that editing on, it's going to give you editing rights or access to your website. Now, what you're going to do is at that first field that you have, you'll notice that there is a gear down at the bottom. You're going to click on that little gear, and it's going to give you the opportunity to edit that. You can name that section a section, or if you want to, that first one so that it's centered, you can title it within the field below that, like I have done here. Now, I don't know if you noticed that, but some of the NetSchool pages had specific tables designed underneath them. I'm showing you Mr. Gatlin's from Byron Nelson High School, and he has this set up where he has one row with 4 columns, and then he has icons that are attached with a description of what those icons, the purpose they serve. I kind of like how his is set up because the top part, while it's not like the Pike Standard, it's set up for connections much like ours, and then underneath it, which is something you can design how you want to have it done, is a place for assignments to be gathered, and then a place for them to be turned in here, and then the lessons and quizzes as well as the exams or tests that he might have uploaded in his NetSchool. But let's get back to how we're going to bring in those items. What you're going to do is, after you have the introduction part of yours, you're going to want to build in those links to your online textbook, your online gradebook, and your resources and your website. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to insert a table. I'm going to insert that underneath the social media websites that I can access, and I'm going to go up here to this icon, Insert Edit Table, and I'm going to insert. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to have 4 columns with 2 rows. Okay? Then I'm going to set my alignment at center. At that point, I'm going to insert, and then the table is going to be really tiny. Don't let that alarm you. That is not a concern. What you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to insert your link. What you can do for today is you can go ahead and you can add a link, and the way that you add a link in there is you can go ahead and, for example, you want to put your website. So if I was wanting to put my website in there, I would go to my website on Jean Pike. I would go down and find my website. I would click on my footprint here with my website. I'd copy it, go back to my Moodle, and I would Control V, add it in there. And that would give you a blue link. You could also, instead of doing that, you could also first write website, highlight that, then you could go over here and you could insert edit link. You could put the URL, and then you could insert it. You might also just title a website and just, if you want to, website, and insert. Now, in addition to that, you could also add a picture. I've already collected some pictures, so I would go to my file by browsing. Then I would go to the file that I have set up with that information in it, or those pictures, and I click on the picture I had already selected as my website icon. Then I would upload this file and insert. And then you would have a picture. I probably would like to go back and flip-flop the website and put that at the bottom, which is something you can do. Insert the picture first and then the website underneath. But now you have an idea of how you could put those in there. If you want to go back and edit at some point, or you want to add extra things, it allows for you to add an extra, you can add a cell or row here, just so you know. So that's how you can add icons. Just so you know how you can add icons with the snipping tool. For example, you want to use Mr. Cooper's website. You really like how he has this right here, and you'd like to use that for your grade book. So what you would do is you would find the snipping tool in your start menu, and you would look for under all programs, and you would find, if you can't find it there, you can also enter it, snipping tool, to search, find the snipping tool. I actually have mine attached to my toolbar at the bottom, but if you don't have that, you can just go and find it. And then I would cut the image that I like. Then I would file and save as. And then I would just add it to my file of images. And so I could label this grade book take 2 and save, because I already have another image. And that's the way that you could add the tiles for your website. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how you would add the Pike calendar. So if you were wanting to add the Pike calendar, you would go to the Pike website and you would find the calendar on the Pike website. Where it says View Calendar. At that point, you would have your HTML or your code. You would copy that. Then you would go back here. At this point, I'm going to get out of that. You would have saved your changes if that's something that you wanted to do. And then what you would do is that you could go and you were wanting to add the calendar. Again, you would click on your gear. And underneath your icons for access that you have and important information that you have, you would just add right here Pike School Calendar. Highlight it. That would give you the indication for the link. Cut and paste your URL that we copied earlier, and I would Pike School Calendar, and then you would insert. And then when parents, save the changes, and then when parents would access your website, they click on this blue link, it would take them straight to the calendar that's set up for the school. And that's how you would take care of adding your online textbook, online gradebook, your resources, your website, and your Pike School Calendar. In the next screencast, we'll talk about how you can post lesson plans in NetSchool.